In the heart of Alberta, or known by city folk as Stettler, is a man with a dream that involves a lot of grit, long nights, and beaver felt, where the fur is soft, the steam is hot, and the hospitality is next to none, is where you can find the man named Jace, owner of JWT Hats.
JWT Hats is bringing back authentic Western hat making to its roots. With all of his years on the rodeo circuit and on the range, Jace is a steward of the Western way. He understands the needs and wants of any cowboy and the job his or her hat has to endure.
Using the finest materials, Jace can craft a hat to meet any cowboy or cowgirl's liking, including any shape, size, or color. Each hat is custom made to cater any person's noggin, big or small. And don't think you're too far away from his little shop. JWT Custom Hats will ship anywhere in North America. His hat can be found far and wide, including his Instagram and TikTok.
So come on down to Stettler or give Jace a ring at 403-740-3574. Remember, folks, if you look good, you feel good.
Shit.
All right, well, let's keep on going. So, Mason, welcome to X6 Podcast.
No. I fucking hate you, Dad.
I'm terrible at this.
All right, folks, so it looks like we're starting over here. Welcome to the Hicks and the Sticks Podcast. This is the Dalmatian episode 101.
Yeah.
We got Cruella DeVille over here just ruining everybody's night by not pressing record.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what? That should be your punishment. If we do this one more time within the next month and you don't press record before we start talking, you have to get the Cruella DeVille haircut where you dye your one side black and the other white.
Bet.
Really?
No. No. Anyways, let's continue our conversation.
Right,
we're talking about golf.
Yeah, so actually before we continue our conversation here, I just want to make a note here that we're officially a golf podcast now.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about any of the stuff that we used to, just strictly golf.
It's golf.
We're golf bros now.
Golf bros.
But anyways, we were talking about bringing beer onto the course.
Yes.
When Devin realized that we weren't recording.
Yeah.
So sorry, but you guys missed out on a good chunk of this conversation.
Yeah. We're just going to skip to that part.
Yeah, we don't want to say that.
So I was saying, though, is it proper etiquette? Because everyone brings their own stash.
Oh, everybody does.
Unless you got money flowing out of your pockets.
I feel like even like police officers bring their own beer onto the golf course. Like everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
Mm-hmm. So like, is it proper etiquette to at least get one beer before you dig into your own stash?
Yes, I think that if you're going to be drinking your own shit every time the golf, because usually the cart girl only comes around maybe twice in a round. I think if you're going to be drinking your own shit and quite a lot of it, I think you should probably at least get a drink every time the cart girl comes around. And on top of that, maybe even if you get there early enough, go get a drink from the clubhouse. And then that way you've started with a drink, right?
Yeah, true.
And then once you done the first hole and you've done that drink, then you can get into your own stash until you see the cart girl, right? But I think that's proper golf etiquette because you gotta, if you don't bring your own, you gotta bring your own shit or else you're a narc. Like, I don't know if I've ever been with somebody before who didn't bring their own shit.
Yeah. And you always just gotta bring beer.
Yeah. And riding the seltzer's pretty hard.
I know. It's summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, they go down like water though. So you gotta be careful.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. But yeah, my biggest gripe with golf is those stupid like GPS hooked up carts that you can't go fast in, and like if you go out of bounds, it makes it so you can't drive forward.
What? I never driven one of those before.
That's because you haven't been to a nice golf course.
Old's decent.
No, I really like Olds, but the golf carts at Olds are fun because they're super fast.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And you guys missed out on this part of the conversation, but Devin lost probably 5 pounds.
Yeah, from all the running.
From all the running he had to do for Massimo.
Freaking Massimo.
Yeah. That'll happen. It's good for you, Dev.
I was traumatized. We're not going to get into it.
It's good for you.
I'm going to consult my counselor about it.
It's going to go to your therapist.
Yeah. That's not okay. Anyways, let's get to the important part. Because all the people...
He's going to have nightmares tonight of Massimo driving at him full speed in a golf cart.
Yeah. Let's get into the important stuff because we got... If you're on the YouTube, you can't see this, and obviously if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple, you can't see it either. But we're currently live streaming right now because we have a giveaway.
I
Why? Is there a comment?
I think people are commenting, but I can't read that far.
I don't
I've
think
got my
so.
spectacles on.
I don't think so. I think
Alright,
we have
never mind.
one listener on each one. That's
Nice.
okay. Nice. But anyways, we're gonna do the giveaway wheel here, right?
Yes.
So first of all, this giveaway was for our 100th episode. Included in the giveaway is a matching wild rag and dog rag from Bar Double Diamond, a festive hat.
Is that what we're calling it? Festive?
Yeah,
Okay.
festive hat
What festivity is it pertaining to?
I think like punchy Western.
Is it a fall hat? Is it a spring? Fall? Okay.
Fall. From JWT Hats, and then also a $50 gift certificate to our new merch line coming up soon, hopefully within a month.
Yeah.
It's basically done. So whenever he gets it done.
It'll get done when it gets done, okay?
How come the sound don't work? Is it not working?
I don't know. Whatever.
We're too far into this.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
Anyways,
guys, this has been a shit show.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna pick the 100th episode giveaway winner right now. Wheel spinning. Wheel spinning.
Who won?
Oh, who's it gonna be? No.
Oh!
Carter
Yuki!
Carter
Yuki's our big winner. Hunter's gonna be so jealous.
So yeah, Carter will be. Well, Mace will probably get.
I think that Carter is Hunter's best man for the wedding in like a month. Okay.
Okay.
I think that Carter should have to wear the festive hat
Yeah.
during Hunter's wedding.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty gnarly.
Superior sound quality. Man, it must really suck.
Must be.
Whatever.
Congratulations, Carter.
Yeah.
Sea Dog, the big sea man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you to everybody who entered it, but there can only be one winner, so that makes the rest of you losers.
Well, on a positive note, no shade to you, John, but at least it wasn't John this time.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what that man has, but he possesses a lucky gene where he wins every single giveaway.
He's got a horseshoe up his ass.
Yeah.
Was it pretty close to being John on that one?
Yeah.
Who was right? Was he right below Carter?
No, that was Jody.
Oh.
Jody.
Okay, yeah.
Jody almost won.
All right, well, anyways, moving on here, I guess. We got a self-research episode coming to you guys today.
Yes.
One that we did about a month ago about Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
So it's kind of the first. We did a generic, just Outlaws of the Wild West self-research back in the summer, but we kind of want to dig into some more of these other outlaws a little bit more, and so we figured that we should probably start with the most recent one in our minds. So Bonnie and Clyde aren't really part of the Wild West because this was after the Industrial Revolution, and we'll get into that. So I mean, I just won't say too much here.
It was just good.
But yeah, no, it was. And
so
then,
we're going to get into that right away?
Well, let me do the Western Word of the Week here.
All right, we're doing everyone's favorite segment,
yeah.
the Western Word of the Week.
All right.
Who's it sponsored by this time?
This is sponsored by Tonka Trucks.
Hell
yeah.
Okay, were you like a big, did you have like the big Tonka trucks or did you have like the little model plate ones?
Oh, we had them all, man.
You had the whole set?
We had them all.
You had them all?
Did you have like a bunch of like rugs that had like the
course.
Streets?
Yeah.
Dude, those were the best to play.
Did you ever have a sandbox? Did you have like a legit sandbox?
Dude, we had a gnarly sandbox, man. Your sandbox, there's no way it compared.
Mine was covered. I had a covered sandbox.
Ours wasn't covered, so I had a bunch of cat shit in it all the time. But that's when you could
it was
actually
double
use,
covered.
That's when the excavator kit to work. You got to pick up the cat shit and drop it outside of the sandbox.
Ours was double covered. Like we had a cover for the sandbox, and then we had like a pergola thing.
Oh damn!
Yeah, my dad went all bougie on me.
Yeah, dude, that sounds bougie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my dad.
Sandboxes are dope.
Playground sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Tonka trucks are cool.
The Western Word of the Week.
Yeah. Okay. Quirly. Quirly is the Western Word of the Week. Quirly. It's a vice. Okay.
It's a device.
It's a vice.
A vice.
It's a vice.
Like you're talking like the tool?
No.
Is it the definition?
I'm trying to give you a hint right now. It's a vice.
You mean like the tool?
No! Like a vice, like a bad habit.
A vice. I don't know.
Okay, so Quirly in the Old West, it was a cowboy's name for his cigarette.
Massimo was a Quirly.
Well, he has a lot of quirlies.
Yeah,
He's always got that quirly in his lip. Or I guess not in his lip.
and his mouth.
In his mouth, yeah.
His mouth.
Everybody's got their quirlies, though. Their vices.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that was the Western word of the week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tonka Trucks, for not sponsoring us.
Yeah, bitches.
Wish you guys
Do you
were.
think do they still make Tonka trucks?
Of course, they still make Tonka Trucks.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like kids nowadays aren't really into that stuff anymore, though.
I feel like they are. I feel like there is a portion of kids that are still are.
Yeah, you might be right. What do you think they are mostly into nowadays, though? I
iPads.
feel like the one thing, yeah.
I feel like there's like this might be a bold statement, but I bet you 85% of kids are iPad kids.
Oh, probably, yeah. Although I think the one kind of toy that will never lose its place in just society is Lego.
Amen.
I think everybody still loves Lego,
Mhm.
no matter how old you are.
Yeah.
Lego's the best.
Yeah.
If somebody like walked up to me tomorrow and gave me a box of Lego, it would probably make me like the happiest I've been in like a really long time.
So that's amazing. Getting for his birthday. I was wondering what to get you. There you go.
Yeah, Lego's dope, man.
Sweet.
It doesn't age. Like, I bet you if I got you a box of Lego, you'd probably be like, "This is sick."
Well, I mean, like, it would keep me entertained for a while.
Right? That's all you really need.
Shit, man. Tired.
Yeah, that golf took a lot out of you, right? A lot of running around.
Yeah. Tired. So before I fall asleep, should we get into the episode?
And stay tuned for next week. We got a really big guest coming out.
Mm-hmm. Cowboy Cole.
Cowboy Cole. So stay tuned for that. It was really fun chatting with him. But yeah, enjoy the Bonnie and Clyde.
All right, Mason. We're rolling.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the start of a series.
Well, no, this is not a series.
It will be a series.
It is. Well, I guess it's
going to
part.
be a long.
It's episode
series.
2 of a series.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So what we're doing here is, and I think we might have made a reference to it a while ago. This is a self-research episode, obviously, but we wanted to kind of dip into some of the outlaws, more specifically Western outlaws. But so we'll dive into some of the bigger characters that you would know from like the Wild West. But Deb and I were kind of thinking that before we go into the Wild West, we should talk about what we consider kind of like the last outlaws, the last famous outlaws. So if you think about it, who's the most recent outlaws you could think of?
Well, to be honest, Bonnie and Clyde, which we're about to get into.
Yeah, which we're about to get into. So we wanted to do Bonnie and Clyde. If you're thinking about Western outlaws,
like I don't know if they're technically a Western outlaw. They're not. But it's a Western. It's a good story and a good topic.
Yeah, it's a good story, good topic. Not Western outlaw. These guys were bombing around in Model Ts, right?
Yeah.
Using assault rifles and shit. So,
who's the latest outlaw that you know of?
Well, and that's what I was getting at. Is they are probably the last. If you think about outlaw in the sense of the Western outlaws. Because I remember when we did the self-research, when I Googled who like the most recent outlaw was, it said like Osama bin Laden. So I don't really consider that an outlaw. That's just
a criminal, terrorist.
Yeah.
Which
are outlaws technically terrorists?
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about Western outlaws, though.
Yeah. We're talking pre-settlement or early settlement of the West. Outlaw.
Early settlement?
Early settlement.
Are you talking like before the
the
Industrial Revolution?
Before the train showed up. Well, I guess maybe the train. I guess the train would have probably still been there.
The train would have been there because there was train robbery. So
yeah.
Prior to the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, I guess so.
But these Bonnie and Clyde were obviously after that. So we kind of wanted to dive into them, and then we will backtrack and we'll get into some of the Western outlaws in the future, like, Billy the Kid. I think we should do a self-research on like Wyatt Earp someday as well. That'd be dope.
Yeah, they'll kind of just be spaced out throughout the next while, whether it be year or two. Just kind of, they're a good self-research topic. I always find them quite entertaining to research and also just chat about.
History's pretty fun. So,
but before we actually get, like we said before, this one's about Bonnie and Clyde. Before we get into that, Mason, did you show me the TikTok?
I did, yeah.
So you want to talk about what you showed me?
Do you want to be in a show, Dev?
I think it'd be kind of cool to be in a show.
Okay, so I saw a TikTok the other day, and I didn't even know this was a show, but apparently there's a show that's based on the life of Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually, historically correct. I haven't watched the show. I don't even know what streaming service it's on.
Yeah.
But apparently they're coming out with a second season, and they're going to be doing filming this summer, and they're going to be doing a lot of filming in Alberta.
Oh, okay.
And so the TikTok that I saw, it pretty much was saying they're looking for people to be extras and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, and obviously if you do that kind of work, they got to pay you for it as well. And it's going to be in Alberta. Don't really know where, but they have an email that you can send, an application to or whatever. So I know Dev and I were going to send an email there, see if we can get on a TV show.
That'd be sick.
Well, I think we got a pretty good chance too, because I think it said in that TikTok that like they're looking for, all ages of people from all ethnicities, but they were like, they need a lot of people to fill the spots of like men that would be in the military age, which is roughly, 18 to 50 or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, we fall in that category, Dev.
We do.
So yeah, if you're listening to this right now and you want to be in a TV show, give it a shot. Send a quick email.
Yeah, I think for anyone that's interested, I think you're supposed to send an email, say who you are. I would say what you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about the Western industry, that might be good leverage. And then also just some pictures.
Yeah, and I don't know if we even said what the email is, but I'm sure if you just Google like Billy the Kid TV show casting, it'll probably come up. So yeah, we might be in a TV show, Dev. That'd be pretty cool.
That's might keyword.
I think we do pretty good.
I think we're like the right like if you look at they're looking for the right demographic. They did say
they don't give a shit about the demographic, man.
No,
you can take a city kid who wears like skinny jeans and throw them in some Wranglers, and that's just fine. They don't need a country boy.
Yeah, true.
If it's extras, you're probably not going to be riding a horse anyways, so you probably don't really need to know how to do that. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyways.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I want to be in the show. That'd be sick.
That'd be fucking sick.
But what streaming service is it on?
We think Paramount Plus.
Ooh, should we watch it?
I mean, if we're in it, we have to watch it.
Oh, 100%.
But
I'm putting that shit on my tombstone.
If the casting director of Billy the Kid's listening, we didn't already watch the first season. It was great.
My tombstone's going to say Mason Mueller. Go look at Billy the Kid season 2, episode 5.
This time.
Yeah, 20 minutes and 13 seconds, and you can see me in the top right corner of the screen.
I can see me walking by.
Yeah. Look for the guy wearing the blue shirt.
Yeah. So stay tuned, folks. Maybe
my legacy.
You never know. All right. Self-research time.
All right. We got to preface this, though.
Yeah.
So this is self-research, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to get credible sources.
Yep.
We
don't use Wikipedia. There's a start.
Yeah, there you go. So right there, that's good.
To be honest, the one website I used was from the FBI, so that's got to be true.
Yeah, that's got to be true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we try our best to do ample research, but we probably don't do enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
like we're not looking at like the scholars type of shit. Like we're not going to Google a scholar or whatever. We're not like APA referencing this shit, but like we're looking at a couple of websites. We're trying to put the facts together,
So yeah,
and also want to preface here, we do have a full case of beer, so we'll see how this episode goes towards the end.
Yeah, it might go off the rails, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Okay, perfect. Deb, do you want to start with the early years?
All right, the beginning of Bonnie and Clyde. So Bonnie and Clyde met in Texas in January 1930. At the time, Bonnie was 19 and married to an imprisoned murderer.
19 and married. Holy shit.
Yeah. Clyde was 21 and unmarried. Soon after
what a loser.
Soon after they met, he was arrested for burglary. Man, if I cannot,
It's a tough word,
if
man.
I can't say that word, this will be a tough episode. And sent to jail. He would later escape using a gun Bonnie had smuggled to him and was recaptured. He was recaptured, then sent back to prison. But then in February 1932, Clyde was put on parole, rejoined Bonnie.
Hey man, I'm a big believer in like if you were pre-cell phone internet era, and if you got caught doing a crime, you're just stupid at that point.
Well, like
think about it nowadays. Like it's tough to get away with shit. Back in that day, man, like it would have been so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we definitely could have been criminals.
Yeah,
it would be easy.
Well, and I'm just thinking, like, how would you sneak a gun into a prison?
Keister it.
That's one small gun. That's one small gun. I was thinking like a sandwich.
That'd be a big, like a hoagie.
Like a hoagie.
You have to put it in a hoagie.
Hoagie or like a birthday cake?
A birthday cake would be good because I'm pretty sure that when you're like sending stuff into a prison, obviously there's supposed to be like a whatever they're called. What are they called? The people who work at the prison?
Prison guards?
Yeah, prison guards. Yeah, the guards. I think they're supposed to inspect everything.
Yeah, but you don't want to tear up a cake.
And that's why they don't. I don't think they tear up cakes because it's like, I don't know, an ethics thing or whatever.
Yeah, but nowadays I'm assuming they probably scan them.
Yeah, they might x-ray it. Who knows?
Yeah, x-ray them?
Yeah. But back in that day and age,
they didn't have it.
Put it in a cake.
So
put it in a cake. Put it in a chocolate chip cake.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate chip cake. Chocolate cake. I don't know if there's chocolate chip cakes.
Man, we ain't speaking right today. Oh boy, chocolate chip flavored cake. No, it was probably.
That would just be chocolate cake, chocolate chip flavor.
Well, what if it's just like vanilla cake with chocolate chips? And what is it?
Is that a cookie then? Just a big cookie.
Just a big fluffy cookie. This cookie wasn't like the rest of them. It was big and fluffy.
Yeah, it was big and fluffy. Yeah, all right. You could put a gun in that way. Also, you could probably just throw it over the fence. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or back then, girls also like wore big dresses and stuff too.
So I guess they could have.
They could have hit it in her waist or something.
Yeah, hit it in her hoo-ha or something like that.
Well, maybe not that, but
I don't know.
She'd probably figure something out.
Yeah. All right. Back to 1932. So later that year, Bonnie and Clyde began traveling with Raymond Hamilton, a young gunman. Hamilton left them several months later and was replaced by William Daniel Jones in November, and they all resumed a life of crime.
Nice.
So they had accomplices.
They did. Yeah, it wasn't just them. I know like everybody talks about just Bonnie and Clyde. They had other folks helping them out. Actually, I think it was called the Burroughs Gang. Mm-hmm. Is what it was called. But obviously Bonnie and Clyde became the big, famous members from it because they were, I don't know, lovers on the run or whatever.
Yeah. And actually the group did expand. So crime was not an unfamiliar thing to Clyde's family, as Clyde's brother Ivan had been arrested on multiple occasions and had prison time. Later, I don't know the year, I'm assuming also between 1932 and 1934, Clyde's brother Ivan would join Bonnie and Clyde along with Ivan's wife.
Oh.
So there was 5 people in the group at one point.
Jeez.
So that does some damage, but also, do they go to an SUV, like a bigger car or 2 cars?
Well, I think it was 2 cars. You could fit 5 people in those Model Ts.
You could. You'd be squishy though.
Yeah, you'd be squishing, but I mean, be better to just have one, be in and out. It could be a lot more stealthy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
More guns.
Yeah.
More people with guns. You can actually have someone out of every window just firing away.
Could, yeah. Just be like a tank.
Yeah, basically. All right. This is where the stuff starts to get a little heated. Do you want to start talking about this, Mason?
Sure. So, biggest crimes that they had. So, before they were killed by the police in 1934, they would commit 13 murders, along with car thefts and bank robberies.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the list of some of the crimes, Clyde allegedly murdered a man in Hillsboro, Texas, committed robberies at Lufkin and Dallas, Texas, murdered one sheriff and wounded another in Stringtown, Oklahoma, kidnapped a deputy at Carlsbad, New Mexico, stole an automobile at Victoria, Texas, attempted to murder a deputy at Wharton, Texas, committed murder and robbery at Abilene and Sherman, Texas, committed murder at Dallas, Texas, abducted a sheriff and the chief of police.
The chief of police?
Yeah, holy shit. And committed murder at Joplin and Columbia, Missouri.
That sheriff and that chief of police definitely lost their jobs.
Oh, big time.
There's no way.
Well, that sounds like they're on a tear too, and they're mainly Texas-based. Like they're just bombing around and just like doing a bunch of shit.
Well, like they just stayed in Texas. Well, I guess they go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And New Mexico.
Yeah.
I bet you they probably did stuff in Texas, then left.
Well, they're from Texas, so that was kind of like where they, I guess,
I guess
stomping grounds.
Yeah. Do it in your home state.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know how we were talking earlier about how, like...
Well, and they all met in 1932, right?
Yeah.
Like, later in 1932. And they were killed in 1934. That's a lot of stuff for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And also, like... For example, like, they abducted a sheriff and a chief of police. Like, should they not have been captured by then? Or, like, do you think they just dumped them?
To be honest, man, it sounds like the police forces that they were going up against were, like, not very good.
Well, that begs the question, too. Did they do their research? Were they conducting crime in areas with weak police forces?
Are they doing organized crime? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, sounds pretty organized.
I mean, I don't think it was that organized, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were saying earlier about how it would be so easy to commit a crime back then and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just doing that.
They're just like, oh, here's the opportunity.
Yeah, they would just go in, do some shit, and then just hit a back road, and nobody would know where they are.
Yeah, true.
Right?
I guess all roads were back roads.
Be a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
Just adios.
Adios. So I know I have a link here, but we have pieces of paper. But I don't know if you clicked on it, Mason.
I did not. No.
But this was their wanted posters.
Okay.
So for a quick description for y'all that are just listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, basically, if you think about it like everyone when everyone thinks of a wanted poster, they think of the old style Western wanted posters.
Oh, these suck.
I know, it's all worse.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's like where's and who's gonna scan someone's fingerprint?
Yeah, why do they have the fingerprints on here? That's weird.
Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's so lame.
Yeah.
Does he even have what their bounty is on here?
I don't think so.
So there was no bounty then.
Don't think so.
Huh. No wonder they.
Maybe
get around for so long.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, these suck.
Yeah.
This was my wanted poster. I would just turn myself in. I'd be like, geez.
Like it's not even like wanted, dead or alive, 500 million or whatever, or 500,000. Like it just like they just want them.
And it's like a whole like brochure pretty much. It's like, all right, here's the description, here are their relatives, here's the criminal record. Yeah, this sucks.
And this was early on because their criminal record doesn't have a lot on it.
Well, they did them dirty. Yeah, I know. So obviously we highlighted a bunch of crimes that happened, but these were kind of like the three biggest ones. Yeah, so then
so on November 22nd, 1933, the Dallas police force tried to set a trap in an attempt to capture Bonnie Clyde near Grand Prairie, Texas.
Grand Prairie.
Yeah. But the couple escaped the officer's gunfire. They held up an attorney on the highway, took his car, in which they abandoned in Miami, Oklahoma. I wonder if that Miami is as good as Miami.
But I mean, probably not. Man, they got a creativity issue down there. They're just reusing names.
Yeah.
Although at that Grand Prairie probably came before Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Mm-hmm. So obviously they figured out how to get away from police.
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
Apparently.
That was kind of dumb.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah.
But
good grab, Deb.
on December 21st, 1993, also in the same year.
1933. Sorry, Deb. I had to interrupt you there. 33.
33. So about a month later, they held and robbed a citizen. See, that's just cruel.
Yeah, they were. I mean, yeah. So we'll get more into it later on here. But I think that the movie kind of depicted them as being a little bit more cruel than they actually were. But I mean, at least they just.
You mean not as cruel as they actually were?
No, in the movie they were more cruel apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. So they just robbed a dude. At least they didn't kill him.
Yeah, true. In Louisiana, Shreveport.
Yeah.
On January 16th, 1934. So another month later, man, they must have been like a crime a month.
Yeah, looks like it.
Here's something. 5 prisoners, including Raymond Hamilton, who served sentences totaling more than 200 years, that dude was stuck there, were liberated from East Ham State Prison Farm at Waldo, Texas by Clyde Barrow, accompanied by Bonnie Parker. 2 guards were shot by the escaping prisoners with an automatic pistol, which were concealed in a ditch, sorry. And as the prisoners ran, Barrow covered their threat with bursts of machine gun fire.
Their retreat.
Damn. I suck at talking.
You suck at reading.
Yeah, I can't read. Also among the escapees was Henry Methvin of Louisiana. See, I think they've depicted this, though, in the Highwaymen scene.
It could have, yeah.
I think at the beginning.
Yeah. This was the first scene in the movie.
This was the first scene in the movie.
So this is where it all starts in the movie.
Yeah, so, but like, first of all, how do you, oh, I see now. Never mind. I don't know where my train of thought was going with that. But
you're just asking how they broke out of the prison?
Well, first of all, how do you hide guns in a ditch and not notice?
I mean, the grass is tall.
True. I guess there was no mowers back then.
Yeah.
There was no county guys going down the road with some mowers.
Yeah, they probably didn't have any goats or anything out there keeping the grazing, doing some grazing and keeping the weeds and grass down to a manageable level.
Speaking of side tangent, completely off topic. What do you think is some of the craziest shit that those county mower guys find in the ditch, actually?
Oh, man. So they got to find like 1 million piss jugs, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of empty beer cans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's normal.
Craziest thing, probably like a dead body.
Maybe meth, like a bed. Like one time.
Nah, I feel like guys are doing meth and coke aren't losing their stash in a ditch. That shit's way too expensive.
Maybe like a dildo.
Yeah,
maybe
I could see that. Yeah.
If you cut ditches,
what a briefcase just full of money, and then you accidentally.
Oh, I'd quit my job there.
And you accidentally go over with the mower and it just shreds it all.
Oh, that'd be the worst day ever.
Yeah, I would cry. If
you cut ditches for a living, come on for 10 minutes. We'll talk about the weirdest shit you found. All right, and like guys, right now we're kind of just going through what they did, and we'll get more in depth about kind of the story behind it. So we're just trying to outline the story. So right now we're into the final day. So we kind of said all the stuff they did. These were the final days. So on April 1st, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde encountered 2 young highway patrolmen near Grapevine, Texas. Man, these names for these towns.
Grapevine, it's kind of a cool name.
Yeah. Before the officers could draw their guns, they were shot. On April 6, 1934, a constable at Miami, Oklahoma, must have been a popular place that they went to, fell mortally wounded by Bonnie and Clyde, who also abducted a police chief whom they wounded. So this is so apparently the police office or whatever service of Miami, Oklahoma has a bad track record.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, how do you get abducted?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably pretty small town. Probably didn't have a big police force.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And then a little bit later, in the middle of April, an FBI agent, through investigation in the vicinity of Ruston, Louisiana, obtained information which definitely placed Bonnie and Clyde in a remote section southwest of that community. The home of the Methvins was not far, so that's the guy they broke out of jail. Yeah. So obviously he was hanging around them, right?
I think that's where his family was from.
Yeah, was not far. And agents learned of visits there by Bonnie and Clyde. Special agents in Texas, which we'll talk about later, had learned that Clyde and his companion had been traveling from Texas to Louisiana, sometimes accompanied by Henry Methvin. So later, FBI and local law enforcement in both Louisiana and Texas concentrated on apprehending Bonnie and Clyde, who they strongly believed was in the area. It was learned that Bonnie and Clyde, with some of the Methvins, and staged a party at the Black Lake Louisiana, the night of May 21st, 1934, and were due to return to the area 2 days late.
Imagine just being on the run and just like throwing like a party.
Yeah, like do you throw a rager or is it like a shop party?
Probably a shop party. Because you got to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's like in the bush party.
Yeah, bush party.
Bush party.
Yeah, you just get all the country boys out
Mm-hmm.
and you just have a grand old time.
Mm-hmm. Before dawn of May 23rd, 1934, a posse composed of police officers from Louisiana and Texas, including Texas Ranger Frank Hammer, concealed themselves in the bushes along the highway near Sales, Louisiana. In the early daylight, Bonnie and Clyde appeared in an automobile, and when they attempted to drive away, the officers opened fire. Bonnie and Clyde were killed instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, they got lit up.
Jim?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of everything that...
That's like the story.
Yeah, that's kind of the
that's facts.
chronological order of everything that kind of happened.
Yeah, because like you see you see like the stuff either on the internet or you watch the movies. Because there's multiple movies, actually. Fun fact.
Yeah, there is. There's one I think that was made back in like the 80s.
Yeah,
as well.
And like they only really depict, if you really think about it, they only really depict from when they got those. Sorry, dinner's coming up. When they did the prison break forward.
In the Highwaymen, yeah.
In the Highwaymen.
Yeah, that's where they kind of start the story because, I mean, the Highwaymen is based off of, or it tells the story of the guys who tracked them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they weren't hired until after that incident took place. So it kind of makes sense why they would start that story there.
Mm-hmm. Actually, do you want to skip into that?
Yeah, we could, yeah. So Highwaymen, for everybody out there who hasn't seen the movie, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. It's a great movie. It's got Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson in it. And they play the part of Frank Hamer and what was the other guy's name again? And Maney Go. And yeah, it pretty much shows the story of how they used to be Texas Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they were both retired, and then they both got hired after Bonnie and Clyde.
Question is, were they retired or forced into retirement?
So I'm pretty sure that Maney was retired, and then Frank, I might have it in here as well somewhere, but he was a member of the Texas Rangers, which, okay, wait. Anyways, he resigned in 1932. Okay. And then he went and worked for a private company. I think he was doing security for like some oil and gas companies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was approached when they weren't able to, obtain or get, when the police or the governor or whatever wasn't able to get Bonnie and Clyde, and they were struggling. They're like,
yeah,
all right,
she dismantled the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
The governor being Miriam Ma Ferguson. Right?
Yeah. So the movie pretty much tells their whole story of how they were able to track them down and, their detective work and all that stuff. Great flick. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it tells their story. I guess just a little bit of background here as well, just about the guys. So Bonnie and Clyde were on the hunt for 2 years before Frank and Maney began their hunt. Frank was legendary long before he gunned down Bonnie and Clyde. Hamer was an integral member of the Texas Rangers, a law enforcement agency which fought Mexicans, Native Americans, bank robbers, and bootleggers in Texas, along with the border in the 19th and early 20th centuries. So the group was extremely violent and ruthless, and their tactics led Mexicans to dub them Los Diablos Tejanos.
The Texas Devil.
The Tennis Devils.
I was supposed to say Tennessee. Oh boy.
So
What's beer?
Yeah, so Hamer became a senior captain of the Rangers in 1922 and played a large role combating the Ku Klux Klan in Texas. And he became known for his ability to control riots and his patient, skilled investigative work. He resigned in 1932 when the Rangers were were taken down from the governor. And then he was just doing private investigation work before he hunted down Bonnie and Clyde. So the movie itself, when you watched it, Deb, what were some of like the key things that really stuck out to you?
Well, I thought it was cool how they went through that lens.
Yeah.
Because you always hear about Bonnie and Clyde, but you never actually heard about whose idea it was for that movie. Smart guy.
Yeah, great casting too.
Great casting too. I think the cast in that movie was perfect.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was just cool to see from that lens, because even like you, I didn't know a whole lot about Bonnie and Clyde, but the only thing you ever knew about was about Bonnie and Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
You never heard about how they got hunted down or anything like that.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, before I watched that movie, like the only thing I knew about Bonnie and Clyde is that they were gangsters, pretty much. Right?
Yeah,
like I didn't know anything about their story.
And I think it's cool too in the movie, and we'll talk about this in the next little segment here. But how they show how the people quite admired Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, so they were perceived like greatly by the public, which it's interesting to see the movie from the side of the guys who were Texas Rangers, the guys who killed people for a living for such a long time, and how they thought it was so despicable that the people actually supported these guys that were going around and just shooting people up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? And like I don't know, I think too, if like as I was doing this research, like that movie was pretty spot on.
It was pretty spot on. I think there was a couple things that Hollywood kind of over glamorified a little bit.
Well, one thing I wonder is if they actually had the dad of the Murthvin, Mr. Murthvin.
If he had that conversation with.
Yeah, I wonder if he was actually involved in the murder. I never found that part when I was doing my little bit of research.
Yeah, from the movie, it makes it sound like he's
like pressured
like
into it.
Well, not even pressured. Or wait, you're talking about the dad that had to like set it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because in here they talk about, like when you're doing the research, they talk about like they know the Murthvin family, so they know Henry Murthvin's dad and whatever, and they had this party which they never talked about in the movie.
No.
But they never talk about how, like in the research, I noticed they never talked about how Henry Murthvin was involved in the killing.
Yeah, how he had his like truck or whatever.
Yeah, and how he was approached beforehand and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely probably a couple of things that were not super true, but overall, I think it was pretty accurate. I would say.
So, I mean, we didn't research this, but do you think Texas Rangers at the time had full jurisdiction across all states?
Probably not, to be honest.
Okay.
Feel like then if they're called Texas Rangers, then it would just be Texas.
Yeah,
right?
true. It's kind of like just a federally. Damn, I can't talk.
The FBI.
Basically, like an FBI of Texas, or sorry, a state-funded.
Yeah, pretty much, right? No, I mean, if you think about the Texas Ranger, like that dates back to the Wild West, right? So they kind of needed them back then.
And I didn't even know like the Rangers had a part in trying to combating the Ku Klux Klan, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or the fact they were called the Texas Devils.
Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan is definitely one thing I've not done a bunch of research into because, I mean, why would I?
I know some guy from the FBI is looking through my laptop right now. I don't want him seeing the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, I promise you.
Just use the company laptop.
I do not. That's even worse. That's even worse. But yeah, no, like, good movie. Very good movie. Yeah. Highly recommend. Where was it on again? Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah.
So, first of all, Netflix, quick plug, you owe us some money.
Yeah, go check it out. But yeah, now I guess towards the end kind of part here, we kind of wanted to go in a little further about the public perception. So I found this from the Washington Post, which I would say is a credible source. I don't know. Maybe not. Who fucking knows? But it describes this couple as the Depression era Kardashians. Okay? That's how famous they were.
That adds up.
No, and that's
a good job, Washington Post.
Yeah.
It's a good, like, what's the word? Reference?
Analogy,
reference.
Yeah, so during this time, the public were getting fed up with the current newspaper articles that mainly was stories related to the shit economy of the time. You got to remember, this was during the Dirty 30s. This is the Depression,
True.
right? So the stories usually, they wanted something different, something exciting. So, for example, what the people really kind of attached to were sports heroes, movie celebrities, and gangsters, right? Because it was something that was, they were just getting so fed up with it was, I would say, a good example.
It's kind of like the news nowadays.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
The news sucks now.
Well, and I was going to say, during COVID, when it was at its height.
Oh,
that's all.
COVID this.
Yeah.
COVID that. Like, dude, show me something happy,
Right?
I used to actually like watching the news, and then COVID hit, and I was like, screw this.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
So, and that's that everybody probably had that same thought back then, right?
Yes, exactly.
So when these two young kids named Bonnie and Clyde were going around and shooting everybody up, everybody just fell in love with them, and the public saw Bonnie and Clyde as lovers on the run.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So
like modern day back then. Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, just two lovers trying to whatever. So Bonnie and Clyde became known of their fame as well. They would leave cameras behind at crime scenes.
Cameras?
Yeah, they would leave cameras behind at crime scenes.
I guess they didn't really have printing abilities.
No.
I guess I'm assuming the camera's film had to be processed.
Probably, yeah. So they would leave cameras behind at the crime scenes with pictures of them posing with guns. And this only added to their fame once the newspapers got a hold of it. And speaking of which now, the one thing that I remember from The Highwayman as well, it's one of the last scenes of the movie, and there's a couple other scenes that I want to kind of touch into a little bit more as well. But right after they killed him and they towed that car into town, remember how that one guy goes up to Hamer and Maney, and he says, "I'll pay." Like, I got the.
I think it was the New York Times.
New York Times on the phone right now. They want to pay you $1,000 for an interview, and they just they scoffed him off and were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
Right. So, when the these newspapers were getting a hold of these cameras that had all these pictures of Bonnie and Clyde looking all stoic, right? It only added to their fame, right? So, when they were eventually murdered, thousands of people from nearby towns showed up hoping to see them or even touch their corpses. And the scene is depicted very well in the movie for people who haven't seen it. Pretty much, there's just a car going down the street, and there's just a swarm of people surrounding this car trying to touch these two dead bodies.
They're dead. They're beat up. There's 1,000 bullet holes through the car. And to think that actually happened is nuts.
Oh, it's crazy. And just people getting all crazy over these lifeless bodies and trying to touch them. I saw even a thing here that apparently somebody tried cutting off Clyde's ear.
What?
Yeah, so these people are just fucking crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing that kind of I thought was the most crazy from the movie, right? The one thing I really didn't understand.
Yeah.
Is it was the public just loved them, right?
Well, I just when someone dies, either respect to the dead body and also the respect to the family. You would never think to do shit like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's a famous president or some Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian was in the street dead. I wouldn't be going up trying to tug on her.
Oh, I can guarantee you a lot of people would, though.
It's crazy, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though, to think that people are like that.
Come on, people, have some morals.
Well, it's just have some respect.
Yeah.
The poor family, the kids, I'm assuming these two, Bonnie and Clyde, were providing for them and stuff. They were probably a means of their living. Sorry. They basically lost a lifeline. And they lost their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there was no way that they were ever going to live the life that they were living.
Yeah.
They were going to.
I was surprised they got away with this shit for 2 years.
Right? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think they were great gunmen or anything. They just
Well, and like
it was just
you have to
guerrilla. It was just guerrilla warfare.
like you see all, like you guys have heard all this stuff now here. Like they broke out of prison. They broke out of prison multiple times. They got other people out of prison. But they did a lot of shit in 2 years.
Yep.
And like not good shit, and people love them.
Yeah, which
That's
is
the
the
crazy
craziest part. And I guess kind of ending off on that note, more than 10,000 people showed up to both of their funerals in Dallas. I think Bonnie's was actually closer to 20,000. That's how many people.
That's like the unrecorded number.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like around 20,000 at Bonnie's, and then I think it was somewhere around 10 to 15 for Clyde's. So it was, yeah.
I know you're a fashion guy. I know we're gonna end off this. I know you're a fashion
it was
guy.
definitely a closed casket.
No. I remember one thing in the movie that they talked about, or they showed, was how Bonnie was a fashion icon.
Yeah, because she would wear a little bonnet or whatever, and then all the girls around there started doing that.
They all did the same hairstyle, same type of dress. Like, that's big. If you're changing the way people wear, because people wear stuff like how they express themselves, but then they were like, yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, there's still a lot of people who do that nowadays, though.
Do what?
Set fashion trends.
Yeah,
that's
true.
not that uncommon.
I guess that's a fashion designer's job, I guess. Do you know what?
Look at Kanye.
Yeah, look at Kanye. Yeah. Kanye. Easy. Well, I was thinking though, like if this whole criminal thing went south, I guess if Bonnie was living, she could have became a fashion designer.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or if they got out of it earlier.
Probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Closing thoughts. I put down a few closing thoughts.
Okay.
All right, Mason.
Yep.
What if there was a modern day Bonnie and Clyde? What would you think? I
think that it would have to be different because just the way that technology works nowadays, you're always on the grid in a sense, right? So you wouldn't be able to go about what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if there was like a modern day example, it would have to be some sort of like cyber crime.
Oh, like a
hacker,
like the not the Illuminati, but like the guys with like the white masks.
The white masks?
Yeah, you haven't seen like the guys on like TikTok and stuff.
Oh.
They wear white masks to distort their voices.
Oh yeah.
I forget what they're called, but basically basically a hacker who's taking money from really rich people or really corrupt people and giving them to the poor.
Yeah, but Bonnie and Clyde weren't Robin Hood. They weren't taking money and giving to the poor, and they weren't taking it just from rich people. They were also robbing poor people.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. So, what was your take on that then?
Just a guy who just commits lots of cyber crimes and just steals money from everybody.
True, like causing a big fuss.
Yeah, just
like this guy tapped into Elon Musk's bank account and basically took a bunch of money.
Yeah, I guess for them to get as famous as Bonnie and Clyde, yeah, they would have to hit somebody who was pretty big name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
But if Bonnie and Clyde happened today, whether that be a more modern version of them or the exact same version, do you think they would be perceived in the same way that people perceived them back then?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just that in that era,
mm-hmm.
It was just, I don't know, a thing of the times.
It was a storm that was brewing.
Yeah. I mean, if you just had a dude and a chick like bombing around in an F-150 just shooting people up, I don't think they're going to get that much public praise.
Yeah, true. How do you think the media would shape them?
I think they would shape them in a very not good way.
Yeah.
I don't think they would get much support, Dev.
You don't think so?
Saying. No. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, I don't think they'd be able to commit as many crimes as Bonnie and Clyde was able to.
No, definitely not. They would do the first one to be apprehended the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're doing it in like Northwest Territories and there's like one RCMP officer every like 1,000 miles.
That's probably the only place you could do it.
Exactly. It takes the Canadian government like 5 days to get the military out there.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? They're just doing it up in Northwest Territories. Who even cares?
Yeah, they're just bombing around on an island and none of it, just like doing their shit.
Although in
going to the same 3 towns, committing the same crimes over and over again.
Yeah, although I feel like if you're doing it in Northwest Territories, like I've never really looked at it on a map before, but I feel like there's probably not a lot of like roads. So I feel like you'd have to change your style. You'd have to be ripping around in like razors or something like that.
Razors, planes, jumping out of planes with a razor.
You'd be going after something that you could go
it's
through
like
the country with.
It's like a James Bond
maybe
style.
An Argo that can go really fast
because
you're gonna have to like go down rivers and shit.
If it's winter time, like a razor with tracks.
Yeah,
snowmobiles.
But I mean, the trees are probably pretty thick back there, so I mean that'd be tough still.
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah,
you hit a meadow, big wind, big snowdrift, razor with tracks.
There you go.
All right, Mason. Last closing thought here. If you were them, what would you do? I know it's not a question.
If I was them, what I would have done is they should have been able to see their demise coming. They were sticking around those same states, mainly Texas, but they dipped into Oklahoma where they were eventually.
And Louisiana.
Murdered. Yeah. They should have said, all right, you know, things are getting too hot around here. We gotta get out of Dodge. Right? If I was them, you know,
you would have went farther.
I would have went like halfway across the country.
Because the thing about the States is, like up in Canada, we have the RCMP, right? And yes, RCMP, they have like kind of like their areas, right? Like the Disbury RCMP.
Yeah.
But like in the end, RCMP, any sort of district can collaborate with each other very easily. Where in the States, it's all state ran. So the moment you get over a state border, whatever police car is chasing you, they can't chase you no more.
Yeah, other than for the FBI, they have jurisdiction everywhere. But I think I'd have to actually look this up. But I don't know if the FBI was established yet when they were doing.
Well,
this.
They did.
They were established?
Yeah, it was an FBI agent that coordinated all this.
Oh.
Coordinated together. Were you not listening?
No.
Test.
But anyways, like if they would have bombed up or would have went up to like Montana or like went like to the northeast or something like that. Like first off, nobody their fandom wouldn't have been as great.
Yeah.
First off. Second of all, like the local nobody would probably be able to tell like if that was actually them or not. Right? Because I don't know if the papers even would have if they would have even had their faces in the papers in like Montana, right? So they could have just went up there and just like started a new life. Or even just like go up there and commit doing crime, and then after that maybe bomb down to like I don't know, like Nevada or Arizona or something like that. Maybe get a couple extra years of life.
Well, so here's what my thinking is. All right,
or go up to Canada.
Because I guess back then Canada would have just been out in the west. Alberta, Saskatchewan would have just been settled. Yeah, because Alberta wasn't started till 1905. It wasn't a province till 1905.
Yeah.
So, but we did have the RCMP at the border. Yeah. So it would have been a little tougher. But anyways, that's a side note.
I don't think the border was patrolled as heavily back then.
Yeah, true. But yeah, and you could probably easily get up through like, what's that one town that you went to that's by the border? Arden.
What?
Arden.
Oh,
that one border town. It's like in the middle, like. Literally, how to get to this town?
It's not really a town; it's just an area.
You literally have to get to this border like station by dirt road.
Yeah.
There's no Arden.
No, it's called something else. I can't remember.
It starts off with an A.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you live in this area or town. We don't know what it is. And we offended you, but okay. So here's my thought. If I was them, you did all this crime. You have all this popularity, right? Which means like you can make money. Like it's a business opportunity. All right, I'm thinking cash dollars. 2 things you do.
Okay.
You figure out a way to make money off of your fame.
Okay.
2, obviously they're good at robbing people. So you go to a bank, and either a big bank, medium-sized bank, small bank. You know, a bank that has a lot of cash that you can live on. You rob the bank, and then you just fuck off to like Wyoming.
Okay.
Change your identity, change your name, live in a shack in Wyoming, and just like chill out.
Yeah, that would work.
And like maybe you can't stay in Wyoming, but like you go to like Wyoming.
What if
Then you go
like,
to
Mexico?
like, well, or that, or you go to Mexico, or you go to the desert in Utah. You know what I mean? Like place like the classic, like, you know how like in a lot of the movies, like the crime movies, where like it's like from the criminal's perspective, how they always like do stuff, and then it's like 5 years later and they're like a beach in Mexico.
Yeah,
like they could have easily done that.
they could have, but I don't think they were wired that way.
There's probably adrenaline.
I think they just wanted the.
They were addicted to the adrenaline.
Yeah, they were junkies.
Junkies for the adrenaline.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like that's what I would have done, because they just kept on going. They wouldn't stop. It was like month after month.
Stayed around those like Texas and its bordering states, like.
But again, too, at the same time though, how easy was it to travel from state to state? You think?
I mean, you just drive.
True.
I mean, I don't know how else you would have done it.
Yeah, but like, do you think some states like back then, like Utah, Nevada, like some of the more desert states, Idaho, do you think they were as developed?
Ooh, that's a good point. I'm not.
You know what I mean? Like Texas was developed early on. Most likely, not fact checked. Most likely because of the oil, right? Like they had a big oil boom early on. That's why people come to Texas. But like places like Utah, Nevada, Idaho, like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
We've been to those states. There's nothing there.
Yeah, they could have easily went there.
Utah's the Great Salt Lake. Like, who wants to hang out in a salty lake? And like,
is it actually salty?
I wonder if it is salty. We should have went and tasted it. You want to look that up?
Is Salt Lake City actually salty?
Well, it's Salt Lake.
Salty, not the city.
Is Salt Lake actually salty?
Okay.
It's kind of a dumb question. But yeah, no, like, that's how I would have done it. But like you said, I guess it's the conclusion that we've come to, that these two lovers, or whatever they were, which we never actually talked about the relationship of Bonnie and Clyde. So maybe we got to figure that out one day. But yeah, they were just adrenaline junkies.
So historically, salinity in the northern arm has hovered around 32%, too salty to support more than microorganisms, and about 14% in the southern arm.
So it is salty. Yeah. It's not like ocean salty.
Yeah. Huh. The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah.
All right. Any last remarks about Bonnie and Clyde, Mason?
No, that's pretty much it. So I guess
we should preface one more time. No, actually, we don't have to. We already went through the facts.
Yeah, that's right.
But
so yeah, we'll be doing more kind of outlaws. It'll be more some of the Western outlaws though in the future.
Like later, like is it later or earlier?
It'll be earlier than at that point.
Earlier than 1932.
Yes, much earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, but probably like 50 years.
Like early to mid 1800s.
Or mid to late. I think most of the Western outlaws were from like the 50s to the 90s. Sort of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Awesome.
Now, also, if you do like these self-research episodes, get a little teaser here. We will have a self-research series. It's not the Outlaws. It's something completely different. We won't say what. Self-research series here in the month of May. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And next week, stay tuned for our interview with Caitlin Bolduck.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night, folks.